first kind of the case for 5D. 5D is just good business. It's a superior way to interact and improve every project by creating highly visual representations of the designs, the design issues such as clashes, the cost plan, and the baseline schedule. This highly visual decision support system can then be used to guide the owner and the design team to make good decisions, to stay on budget, and then you can use the detailed information of cost and time and the highly coordinated design that you'll have to better negotiate with the subcontractors and improve their understanding of their role in the project scope. So it really focuses on two constituencies, the owner and the design team, as you see on the left here for the decision support, and the subcontractors on the right. And these, if you can keep both of these parties happy, you're going to have a good project. Owners like 5D, they really like it because they know the value of being able to see the project information as they discuss these issues with their entire team. They often have a CM or an owner's rep. They have other people in their organization. They have bankers. They have design teams, engineers, consultants, and of course the contractor who they'll select to build it. So the contractor is really at the center of this workflow, and they are really the key to a good project. So if you take through the 5D workflow, the owners really like seeing how this can reduce risk and improve the process. And it basically runs like this. You start out by making sure that the 3D model is well put together, and we'll talk some about that today. You then extract quantities by location, both in sum and by location, so that you know what you're dealing with in terms of what are the items that are driving the cost. You know, maybe it's the cladding or the exterior skin of the building, or maybe it's the MEP. And then you create a baseline schedule which is optimized in Flowline, our scheduling software, so that you can improve the productivity of the subs and keep subcontractors productive. Finally, you can then use all this leveraged information for production control, which is now tracking the actual schedule, providing you real-time updates, and again, decision support about what moves you might take if you have a delay for a certain reason. You know, how many more crews might you need, how many more shifts, all of that can be calculated and tracked. And this all adds up to reducing risk. So this is why owners like 5D so much. And 5D, you know, using models is just good for business. It's an extremely powerful sales and management tool for the GC. You can see here, showing this picture to an owner about how you're going to leverage the model that he is buying from the architect and use it to better coordinate, better cost plan, and better schedule, and do it so visually that the entire team can buy in. You know, it's just superior. There's nothing else to say. It sure beats spreadsheets and rolls of drawings. Now, for those of you who are new, let me quickly take you through the integrated workflow. Basically, this column represents anything that's in a building information model. These elements or objects are brought into Vico Office through a publishing process that's quite simple. It's a one-button pick in your ArchiCAD or Revit or Tekla menus, and it creates what we call a takeoff item. Like takeoff items, so let's say there were 400 columns in this building, they'll all be grouped together. And that grouping is then matched to a data structure, which we call an assembly. And that assembly represents the cost information that the estimating team or the cost planning team will need to use. And this is where they create what we call takeoff quantities. In other words, they select the specific quantities for each of these formulas. So for formwork, obviously, it's going to be your 4 vertical surfaces. For concrete, it's going to need the volume of the column. For cladding, it's going to, again, need the same surface area probably as the formwork, etc. So the Vico office user selects the quantity that he wants to extract for the specific line item. And then further, and you don't always go this detailed or this deep early on, but many of our customers are doing this earlier and earlier, because once you've built a database, this is really quite easy to do, and they're able to size out the crews, the shifts, the equipment, and all the raw material that will be needed by the subcontractors or the teams. From there, you work with the superintendent or the scheduler to sequence the project. And in Vico, there's a huge string on LinkedIn about how difficult it is to split the slabs in construction models. So I'd like everyone to be clear, Vico automatically splits these models up using its location management system that's part of Vico Office. So it doesn't matter how many models you put together, and it doesn't matter how big or small they are. In Vico, we'll simply be drawing these lines in plan view to create these zones or these location systems, and then we will tell the software, we will tell the system what we want to include in that location. So I could have one location here for concrete and steel. I could also have a second location in the same area, maybe divided up further for interiors. So you're not limited, and all of this splitting is done what we call virtually. So the models are automatically split up inside Vico, even though they appear, nothing appears to be done to them, and you now have quantities by location, which is a very powerful planning tool for the operations team. Since we have our building in 3D space, our cost assemblies, and our resource information zoned by locations, we now can create a schedule very easily and basically automatically. And this would be where you would start your baseline schedule, and you would bring your team in to look at it, to analyze how much buffer is needed between tasks and what ways might you be able to make this more effective. You can display it in Gantt chart view if that's more comfortable for people, but the flow line actually tells you a lot more. And then all of these other reports that you see down here, including this 4D animation, are then automatically generated. There is nothing to do to create them. This report is cash flow. This report is resource loading. I believe this is a concrete report, concrete resource report. And so a fully cost-loaded schedule is an output of the natural 5D planning process. And again, owners love that because they're always asking for cost-loaded schedules.